What's good, everybody? Tim, also known as Yoshi McCloud, here back with more Lorcana gameplay. Last time I showed you guys a match between me and Melissa. This time it is me versus Cody. We are in the Blurple mirror. Now, it is not a 60 card mirror, but our deck lists are very close in terms of what we're going for. Cody won the die roll, begins putting a broomstick down. Me, I open with a Chernobog's followers. So, from here, this matchup ends up getting really weird because I think that there's a lot of key moments and key decisions in this matchup that matter. So he goes in with a T-Po, he's going to ramp up, boom, pop the broomstick, he's going to draw a card. So he's at 3 ink to my 2. I'm going to ink a hideaway, I'm also going to play a T-Po, quest my Chernobog's followers, and draw a card as well. We're very much in parity with each other. So there is no real tempo advantage, although I think we are both at 1 lore right now. Now here, Cody stops for a moment to think, because since we're playing very similar lists, it's a situation of how do you get your advantage here. So here's one of the things that Cody's playing that I'm not. He's playing small Cogsworth. 3, he's going to play his lovely Crab Merlin. He's going to get in there. So Crab Merlin matters in this matchup in my opinion because a lot of our cards actually do have big backsides. Boom, we get a Mickey. We're going to further our ramping here. At this point, I'm debating what I'm doing with T-Po. I decided to hold him back. I don't know how much it really matters, but I make the decision not to throw my T-Po away. Alright, boom. Stings friends on the other side with the Merlin. He's still down ink on me, 4 to 5. He hasn't inked this turn yet. And I think he's just trying to figure out the best way to dig into this. Because this matchup's really weird where there's like super key turns that the game just explodes on. Alright, thanks for another moment. Inks his second, inks another T-Po, taps 3, goes down for a Mickey of his own, ramping up. And that's it for him. I go fronts on the other side, boom, drawing 2, inking a T-Po. I do end up inking a lot faster than him. I bounce the Mickey, replay the Mickey, end up getting some more cards. I have a lot of stuff on the board, especially since I do get the Chernobog's followers down. So at this point, I've ramped ahead of him. I'm at 8 already, and I think at this point I have Mufasa in hand. So in my head, my thought process is I can slam Mufasa on his next turn, but I do have other plays, which I think is the quote-unquote problem here. Where because I have other plays, I don't know if slamming Mufasa here is correct. Thinking about it now in hindsight, I think it might have been right to hard slam Mufasa immediately upon getting this opening. So for example, he's only going to 7. I think the biggest problem here is I don't know what's in his hand, and I'm hoping that he doesn't have an answer to Mufasa. I think he's down to like 2 cards though. So keep in mind that he might be down to like 2 cards. I don't know. So I make the decision, boom, I'm going to draw a bunch of cards. I play a library, crash my Mimic, get a card, quest my 1-2, get a card, tap a couple more of my guys, get some board presence, and now if he answers any of my board, I'll draw more cards. So I just drew what, 3 cards this turn, and I have the ability to draw more, putting Cody in a really weird spot. He's going to answer my library, but at this point my library's done what I wanted it to do. I've got my advantage out of it. I drew 3 cards off the card, so I think it was worth. Or I guess I drew 2 cards off it, not 3. My point being, I drew my cards. Here we unink. We untap. And the question is, what is our play that we want here? Quest for Mickey, play Mim Fox, bounce it back. Crash into their Mickey. Play 3, play a Fox, put back the T-Po, boom. Replay T-Po. I think I just inked the Mickey off the T-Po. I could have done that either direction, truthfully. Actually, no, I inked the card this turn. So no, I couldn't have done that either direction. But yeah, at this point, boom. We took control of the board back for the most part. Cody's only got a couple cards in hand. I believe that's 3 cards in hand are sitting there. Can't quite tell at the angle. He's going to trade Mim with his Fox. And honestly, that's what I was hoping he would do. He inks a Let Go and plays his big Mufasa.
Boom. He drops his big Mufasa, gets 2 cards back. And here's the problem. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, hopefully he doesn't have any cards. So I play my big Mufasa in response. Because this is going to be a big deal. If he can out my Mufasa, he has control of the board. If I didn't have the ability to out his Mufasa, so I just tried to match Mufasas. The problem is, the Let It Go he inked was one of the cards I gave back to him. We actually talked about this after the game. He had the Let It Go, which means he has control of the board. Mufasa comes in, quests, restands all his ink, and he just gets a library. I can't answer the library off my board. I have so many more cards than him, and these more cards do not do anything. This is the entire problem. I'm like, yeah, I have infinite cards, and my infinite cards factually don't do anything. Alright, getting into game 2. We just finished resolving mulligans. I'm on the play now, inking a crab and just passing. I don't have a turn 1 play, which does suck like a metric ton, but it is what it is. He goes, inks a Madam Mim, puts down his broomstick. I get a T-Bow out on 2. The ramping has begun. So I'm at 3 ink to his 1. He hasn't inked for turn yet. And I don't think he has the T-Bow to match me, which that is good for me. Him not being able to match my ramp is a big deal, because I really want to try to get ahead of my ink. He does, he plays Shredder Box Followers, uses the broomstick power to draw him a card. Not bad. We do get a Mickey Mouse down there. Our ramping has really begun. See, here's the big thing right here. We need to ramp hard, because all of our cards that break open our matchup are higher end cards. So Cody is basically trying to figure out his best way to match us. Inking a Mim Elephant, he plays a Mickey Mouse Detective of his own. So we're in parity right now, which that's typically what you want. Ink a card, getting the Donald. I got the God Curve. Exactly what every kid wants to see. I do believe I am up a card because I have the T-Bow. So by up a card, I mean up an ink. So I believe I'm at 6 ink on this turn. No, I'm at 7 ink going into this next turn, while he's at 4 coming in, and I don't think he has quite the ability to match it. This does mean that if I have any of my haymakers in hand, I can slam them, which is really big. This is ideally what you want to do going into turn, 5 with... I'm going into turn 5 with 8 ink. It's pretty good. Alright, Ancient Shredder Box Followers, doesn't pop it, bounces it back with Snake. Gonna use Snake to hit my Mickey. Snake takes minimum damage from that. Replay the Shredder Box Followers. As now we're gonna pass back to my turn. Where do we go from here? We're on 7 ink, so there's a lot of options we have in terms of cards we can play. Boom. Got a rabbit, draw a card. Pretty good. Ink a card for 1. Wait, no, we're not for 1? I'm getting a little bit indecisive here, trying to figure out the best way. For 1, going to broomsticks. At this point, I think I'm debating whether to quest or to punch with Donald. I do quest with Donald, don't punch the Mim. And I think I've passed turn at this point, yes. So here's the thing. The Donald is being clearly offered as a trade for the Mim. He can take it. It's completely worth it, honestly, because Donald is questing for 2. And Mim is one of the few cards that just cleanly answers it. Granted, it is a trade, but I'd say that's a trade worthwhile. Cody takes a moment to think as he's deciding. Here's the thing. If he can go a Merlin Crab, punch with Mickey, that's much worse for me, which he does do. I was hoping to get the Mim, but he had the Crab. Well, I knew he had the Crab, so I knew I was getting one of the 2. I'm pretty sure we knew about the Crab, but I think the Crab was bounced back by the Mim earlier. I might be wrong. I could be talking out my butt. Regardless, we trade that off for board price. Something needs to hit into it. So for 3, we're gonna put a castle. Moving boys into the castle. So we use our rabbit to trade, drawing 2, 1 for the rabbit, 1 for the castle. Questing with our broom, playing Snake. We quest for T-Bow, play Snake, bounce the T-Bow, pop the broom, draw a card off the broom, draw a card off the... I keep saying castle, off the library. So we just drew a bunch of cards this turn. So Cody does have cards in hand, but we have, I believe, we have like 6 or 7, while Cody's at 4 or 5. We're slowly running away with our hand advantage, which is what we want to do in a situation like this. We have the ink advantage already. We want to get up on cards, and the board isn't out of control yet. We're in a spot where we very clearly have the board like control. So here, Crab comes in, bounces, he takes out our castle. It's unfortunate, but castle did get us value already. In purple matchups, you do have to be careful with the castle. Cody plays a castle of his own, draws 2, bam. Pretty good, not going to complain too much about that. We're sitting on a 9 ink right now. He has castle, he has Mim. I think I just trade off my Mims, and then I just slam him Mufasa, and I say have an answer. If he doesn't have an answer to this Mufasa, I think this game is going to end very quickly. Boom, he gives me back 2 cards. I pass turn. I tell him, do it. Like genuine, I just tell him, I'm like, you got it. He needs something to answer it. Because both these decks don't answer Mufasa well outside of cards like Let It Go, which he's playing and I'm not, and Hades, which I'm playing and I think we're both playing. There just aren't good answers to Mufasa in these colors outside of those. Like, I guess you can make an argument that Yzma is a fine answer to Mufasa. But also, like, when Yzma's played, she's normally like a Tech 1. Alright, locking down the Mufasa with the Elsa, that's an answer. Buys time. However, I ink a card and I go back to back with my Elsa. So now Elsa Mufasa versus Elsa, you know, definitely not scary at all. But he did manage to stop me from getting max value out of my Mufasa, considering that I was only able to Mufasa just wasn't able to do anything this turn. He got locked down. Now move Elsa to the castle, play his own Mufasa now. So now he gets to answer. Now I'm being forced to answer his Mufasa. So let's see how we play it out. Begin with the Hades. Hades is there to answer Mufasa. We have 2 ink left over. I don't think I have any good way to utilize this ink, so I just quest with Mufasa. Restand on my ink, gain my 4 lore. Elsa's gonna punch in. Elsa dealing a little bit of damage to his Elsa. Madam M Fox coming in. Excuse me, not his Elsa, to his castle. Play Merlin. Merlin comes in, draws me cards. So now I'm questing for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on my turn. He really needs to have an answer to this Mufasa. If he, even now, answering Mufasa might be too late at this point. There's a good chance he has to commit a lot of resources to it, because Mufasa's body is really big. Boom. Trade with Mim, hit my Mufasa. He does manage to out it, but I've already gotten a double ink turn because of it, so... Ooh, we used the Mim Elephant to bounce that back to hand. Excellent. So we're just going to quest for 3 at this point. We're in a really good spot. I have to drop some more cards on the board. Rabbit, draw me a card. Goat, gave me a lore. At this point, we are really starting to run away with this game too. It's really close. Because the thing is, like, if Cody has a couple good answers, he could really punish me for what I'm doing. But that is hard to do in this type of a situation. Cody's sitting here trying to decide what the best thing to do here is. I do have a lot of pressure on board. This is questing for 5 and a rabbit. Cody, all of his ink getting tapped. Playing an Elsa, locking down 1 rabbit and 1 goat. We're going to kill the goat. Her Mim Elephant's got 4 damage marked on it, which if that thing survives in the next turn, that can start throwing that damage back onto my characters, which is very good for it. So I'm almost certain... Oh, that's where I locked down. My fault. Almost certainly that's going to take over, not take over the game, but cause me some problems and give better trades. Like Crab, you're going to use our Rabbit with the buff of Crab to punch in there. Boom, we play Ursula. Ursula's going to start questing me for 3. He also can't sing songs anymore, meaning now he has to use his ink for them, which is good. This puts me in a pretty good spot, honestly. but it is, as you can see, this matchup is so much more grindy. There's a lot of us trying to trade and jockey for position. Another rabbit comes down, drawing more cards. And he's waiting. He's questing in for 4. Okay. On my turn, though, I just quest in, and I believe that's the game at that point. Me and Cody get ready for game 3. Alright, we're going to game 3 here. Game 3, I am on the draw, unfortunately. So, getting started, inking a Merlin Goat, playing a Brum. Me, if I remember correctly, I actually am able to match this play, inking a Hideaway. Hideaway, although it does hit locations, that's the only real use it has in the matchup. And as an early card, I'm honestly better off just inking it at this point. Maybe there's an argument for holding on to that card, but I decided to ink it. He inks a Let It Go, playing a T-Po, getting a 3rd card into his inkwell, and he quests with his Broom. Alright, me, going back to me, draw for turn. I unfortunately don't believe I have any ramp pieces here, so I go Trinidad's Followers, and I just pass it. I don't actually want to lose my guys just yet. So, we're kind of doing the staring at each other game. Cody has both the tempo of going first and the tempo of slamming a T-Po on the board, so because of that, I'm having a hard time keeping up with his ramp. He's going to ink a castle, play a rabbit, getting him an extra draw. Rabbits being a great card. Rabbit's super important in matchups like this because you want to play your rabbit and protect your rabbit. And here we're inking one of my Elsas, which quite honestly, that is super awful because there's only 2 in the deck because I couldn't find the others. We play our Broom and we don't do anything after that, unfortunately. So we're staring down. This is very much kind of just a holding pattern game, where we're just very much holding our boards. Not a lot of questions going on just yet. Their Broom's going to get in there. He's going to play his castle and then move the Broom to the castle. So we have a bit of an opening here, but the opening's gone because he plays the Broom. The Broom makes the other Broom sack. He draws 2 cards, quests in, and now we're getting to the point where the game is slowly starting to be lost. This game gets much worse. We play our own castle, quest with Trinidad's Followers, pop it, draw 2. My castle's kind of vulnerable, unfortunately. He has T-Po and he has Rabbit. All he needs is a Snake and his castle's gone, which there's a good chance he has. If he has Snake, or even if he has just Crab alone isn't enough, but Crab Mim gets rid of my library. Excuse me, I think I said castle for a second. So we're in a really good spot right now. We're trying to find our way to deal with everything. Yep, 2 of them are going in, putting 3 damage onto my castle. And then there's the Fox. Fox finishes it, almost finishing it off, with the Broom finishing it off for good. Moving T-Bone the Broom over to the castle. Unfortunately, my castle got. We question will manage to ink a T-Po, play a Donaldo. We draw. We ink and then we double draw. We're at 6 ink. I think we're really behind on the board right now. We are slowly losing our pressure. Alright, there's a library going into the inkwell. As all 3 characters are now in the inkwell. Doing a bit of questing. 3, playing Elsa, tap my Donald, use it to run him over. Draw off the library. And I don't know how much longer this game is going to go. This game is really bad. Like, this game state's so bad for me. I draw off the rabbit, I ink a card, play Mickey, ink another card. At this point, the situation is I'm behind. I'm trying to see if I can dig my way out of it. The game's not over, but we're just so far behind, and we're trying to find every chance to get back into this game. As Hades coming down, inking my rabbit. I did accidentally put a rabbit in my grave, but I do think I catch that in like a moment when I realize, hey, this rabbit's not in the graveyard, it's supposed to be mine. Where do we catch it? Wow, it took me a while to notice this. I do remember when this happened and I actually didn't realize it at first. Yeah, there we go. There's me catching it. I caught it before I made any plays, so it's not the biggest deal. We realized the mistake happened. Put the card where it's supposed to go. In the moment, this was like a very long game, and we didn't have a lot of time left on the clock. So at this point, we kind of both are trying to move quickly in this game 3. I do think that I am roughly at the point where this, it's almost insurmountable. I think the only saving grace I have is I have a lot of cards, but the problem is, what can I do with it? Like, I have so much in my hand, but I need the resources to try to fight back on this board. Like, he has characters that can quest, he has a location that's generating him extra cards. He just managed to drop a Hades. So I Hades back to Hades. And then I managed to pump on Mickey Mouse with a crab, and Mickey Mouse cracks in. He does draw a card off that, but at this point we need to try to do something because this game is snowballing out of control. On the bright side, it does seem like we're starting to do something. Drops a goat, Mim Elephant, bouncing it, get a couple quests in. Yeah, but that game is very much over. It's really unfortunate too. I do think this deck list isn't the best, but there's lots of ways that could have fixed it. I had so many cards in my hand, but it just wasn't enough to try to keep it in there. So at this point, we're going to show the deck list again. Same deck list as the last video when I was playing against the Amber discard. I do think this deck is interesting, but I swear this color combination is just missing a couple good pieces to truly be a meta contender. Not that it wasn't fun, it is just far from perfect in my opinion. But regardless, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any ideas of things you think I should run at my next locals, please do me a favor, leave me a comment, leave me a like, and I will maybe try those decks out. Catch you guys next time. Peace.